Day one, they're discovering Christian morality. Pastor Michael, it's that time of the year again.
It's the best time of year.
The 12 days of Restless. Pastor Michael, tell the people how you're doing.
I'm doing just okay. I'm very happy that it's the 12 days of Restless. I'm just near the end, hopefully, of what has been a long sickness in the Bowman household, and I got it last, and so I'm getting over that. You may hear it in my voice. You will hear me cough probably at least once during this. So I'm fully aware that doesn't make for good podcasting. I can't help it. So
he can't help it, and we can't help but do the 12 days of Restless, and we need a little bit of lead time. So he's coming in sick so that I can edit videos in time. Pastor Michael, it is a great day to start the 12 days of Restless, and we are going to start the 12 days of Restless here this holiday season with a big white pill. Pastor Michael, normally during the 12 days of Restless, I would tell people to get themselves a hot drink, snuggle in, but there's no snow. The weather's nice. El Nino has completely changed this Christmas season. So, Pastor Michael, that means there's only one thing to do when there's no snow on the ground and the 12 days of Restless are starting. It means you have to follow the law. That is White Claw. So the drink of this 12 days of Restless is White Claw, everybody.
White Claw.
It's festive. Now, again, to my hardmen friends who were pretty critical of me for being critical of Doug Wilson, who are going to probably jump on the fact that I just opened a White Claw. I did not get leg day deadlifts this week, so give me a little bit of cred, guys. But Pastor Michael, I said we would introduce some giveaways on the first day of the 12 days of Restless.
Yes.
So here are a couple. The first person to comment on this YouTube video and share this on Twitter or X and tag us there will win something. Pastor Michael will send them. So that's exciting.
It's true.
Number 2, first new patron to join will win something else. And everyone who shares these episodes on Twitter will be entered to win a grand prize to be announced at the end of the 12 days of Restless. So there are some good giveaways starting it. But that's not the white pill I wanted to talk about today, Pastor Michael. Pastor Michael, I want to talk about one of my favorite Facebook groups I've joined recently. And it's not the Reformed Pub, even though I have love for those guys. It's not even the Dunder Mifflin Seminary, which just takes Dunder Mifflin's scenes from The Office and makes them into Reformed theology memes. No, Pastor Michael, my favorite current Facebook group, it's not even the Reformed Fitness group with men, which is great, and it's similar to this one, actually. But my favorite one is a Facebook group called They're Discovering Christian Morality. Pastor Michael, are you familiar with this Facebook group?
I'm not, but I've seen at least a meme format similar to this, and so I wonder if it'll be the same. I'm intrigued.
So now, Pastor Michael, I would ask all of our listeners, so now that I am obviously we're not a huge podcast, so I'm not going to spam these people super hard by just by discussing this Facebook group existing. You can try and join it. But this group, what I love is, one, this group is very disciplined. They only share relevant posts. Nothing outside of what this group is formed to. There's no mission creep, which every other Facebook group on earth ends up just talking about the whatever 3 most active people in the group want to talk about, which is why they all end up destroyed. But for now, this is an uncut gem. This is a beautiful group. And all they do in this group is they share posts, memes from various social media sites of non-Christians beginning to discover they believe Christian things. And then we celebrate them in this group. Now, and because of that, actually, this group isn't the most active group on Facebook. Because, again, they only share relevant posts. But, Pastor Michael, I want to submit that this is actually a big white pill. And then we can discuss maybe some of the limitations of it. But, Pastor Michael, can I show you my favorite meme from this group?
Yep, I want to see it.
All right. My favorite one As you can see, a lot of these look like good-looking memes, don't they?
They
We may
do.
come to them, but we got to go to my favorite one. Where is it? Where'd you go? Maybe when I change, it's the like, this one. It's over here. Here we go.
Ah.
It's this one. Okay. So, Pastor Michael, this meme is my favorite post from this because it describes the path it believes a lot of young Western men and women are on. And so it starts right. It's what is this meme format called? Do you know what the name is?
I don't like
Is it the
the
Enlightenment meme or whatever?
yeah
It's
enlightenment brain. Yeah, like as it moves from small brain to to the universal mind
yeah,
consciousness kind of a thing.
right. Which again, maybe sketchy, but right. What it starts with, and again, what's awesome is this is like people in the comments say things like, this is how I got back into Christianity, right? Like there's people like saying, yeah, this is exactly what happened to me. And I'm going to move their comments off here just because we don't want to dox anybody in this group. But here you go. So it starts with lol, all religions are stupid. Then the next one is I don't like religion, but Christianity is better than Islam. Then we get, though I don't have a religion, I understand Christianity is important to maintain Western civilization. Then religion is fundamental to tribal identity, and we must uphold the church in order to defend the Westerns from barbarians. Then we have, well, I'm skeptical of the supernatural. Christianity is the prime driver of Western excellence and accomplishment. I follow the teachings of Christ in order to preserve this legacy and better my character. And then final one, excellence is a reward from Christ, and I give myself over to the Lord.
Nice.
So, Pastor Michael, what do you think of I like this because I believe it describes the phenomenon this group exists to discuss.
Yeah, I think so, and I think it is something that it is a kind of character arc that you see happening in a lot of different places. This is in a lot of ways, at least it's not exactly the same, but it's very connected to what we've seen over the last handful of years with the Jordan Peterson phenomenon, with people that are, they get interested in Christianity because of its, ideals or its archetypal imagery or like just different things like that, while still saying, well, but like I'm still one of those smart, rational people that doesn't get, deep into that stuff. I don't need to believe it. But then you start to realize actually this is every blessing that that we have in the West comes from Christ. And so all of a sudden you do get to the point where you have to ultimately submit to him. Not that everybody does, but it does seem like this is very, very common. And we should give thanks for that, by the way. That's a good thing as we go through maybe strange times in our culture. The fact that that's causing many people to begin to question things and think, oh, wait, maybe all this stuff that I made fun of is actually true, right? Maybe that initial, freshman LOL, all religions are stupid side of me was actually very dumb. And now I need to grow out of that and realize, nope, I do need to submit myself to Christ.
Yeah. So I think what I like about this meme is it also it is the hopeful path because right, even the name of this group, they're discovering Christian morality, is the like there is the limitation here, right? The Christianity as like my form of stoicism, my form of like intense self-discipline is not Christianity, right? That's the that is probably Paul's the form of godliness but lacks power, right? And so that's why I love that this recognizes that you have to end with I give myself over to Christ as Lord.
Yeah.
So Pastor Michael, I do think this is a real phenomenon of people like as it's been called, living in trash world, like living, we can just say without meaning, without connection to humanity, without connection to, obviously, most importantly, Christ and God, but anything connection to their history, right? Just realizing like that everything they've thought doesn't matter,
Yeah.
right? And what is the, if you could describe, like, what is the evangelistic opportunity, and what is the way those people need to be confront, like, is there a, is there, I don't even mean a rebuke and like you need to like
Mhm.
tell them stop listening to Jordan Peterson. I just mean like, is there like a sin, is there, what can we grab onto to teach them that they need Jesus, they are a sinner, right, in need of God's grace, and that's
Mm.
why, and that is the like what God has left all of these things to show them.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's hard to say only because there's so many different paths to this. I'm thinking of, you know, basically like what you said, with so many people in trash world, in just nihilistic culture. Anytime you start to rediscover truth of any kind, right? So this is people who get deep into history, or people who get deep into the traditions that have formed their culture in the West, or they start to get into even things like myth. I think about somebody like C.S. Lewis, who like
Mm.
began to really question his the Enlightenment side of things as he got deep into mythology itself, right? So
Right.
anytime you get into these things that bring you back to reality, there's different ways that you get there in our day, but any of those paths have the possibility, if you keep down that road, ultimately leading to Christ, right? Because
Mm.
he is the Word, he is the truth, and so you will end up there eventually. But it's important, I think, more so for us to remember that you don't just end up there um, accidentally, or
Mm.
I mean, maybe you kind of do sometimes, right, in the providence of God. But what I mean is you can't get to Christ apart from hearing the gospel. And so somebody's not just going to come to Christ because they start to believe something about history, unless that thing that they believe is the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ for the forgiveness of sins. And so uh, I guess the burden is really on those of us who interact with those who are going down this path, to help move them along, right? To help keep pushing them along. Say, yep, like what you're discovering is true. Yes, you're coming into the real world. Yes, these things matter. Yes, as you discover, the historic connection of your culture to Christianity and how you see that as a good thing. That's true and good and right. And it all comes from Christ, right? It's not enough to stop at, well, I really like the benefits that Christ has given
Yep.
uh, over time. You actually have to come to Him. Otherwise, you're not actually any better off in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I just wanted to think through this balance, because I literally believe there are tons of, and obviously I have an experience with men, but men and women like looking for, that are in these circles, and that if we give them something more substantial than the Daily Wire, like this is the like this is the evangelistic opportunity that most people have been waiting for. And um and yeah, and maybe the other thing that even you see in this meme, like there's probably going to be a, originally, but again, this is something that can grow in Christian discipleship, probably a lack of understanding of your own sin, right? Like this is still but that's okay. And so I just want to encourage it. I just want to be all about it. So let's just look at a few examples of Christian morality as it's being discovered out in the wild, and then we'll end this first day of the 12 days of Restless. Um so what was one? Here was a good one. This is a Jim Bro. Excited. So if you're not watching, again, this is a video show. This is what would you call this? This is a stacked Kirby, Pastor Mike.
It is. It is. It is Kirby, but just ripped.
So this is
Jim
again
Bro Kirby.
Jim Bros, and it says, "You forgave someone that wasn't even strong. That's hella strong, bro." And it's just again, right? He's celebrating forgiveness. That's the
Love it.
What was another? Oh, this was a good one. And so they'll take headlines, right, that they find. And so it's a guy in the corner that says, "They don't know that too risky to wed in your 20s, not if you avoid cohabitating first." And it shows research shows that marrying young without ever having lived together with a partner makes for some of the lowest divorce races. And it's people with crosses on them as Christians dancing who say, "We know,"
We know.
because they're just happy.
Yeah, we've been saying this forever.
What was another good one? There's
Too
a good,
good.
there's a good like Presbyterianish one. Oh, here's
Yeah.
this one. Having at least one lazy day per week can help reduce stress, high blood pressure, and lower the chances of having a stroke. So, of course, discovering the Sabbath.
Having one day to rest a week. Yeah, that's good.
And then this book that some guy, I don't know who this is, but Brad Wilcox wrote this book, and how this book has become it's become a surprise hit. It's called Get Married: Why Americans Must Defy the Elites, Forge Strong Families, and Save Civilization. So, again, it's
I've seen some of those. I've seen this meme format
Yeah.
where, I remember this with the overturning of Roe versus Wade, when people would say things like, well, if we can't abort our children, then, we need some way where, men can't just abandon their children, and we'll have to actually, take care of them, and take care of, and stay with us as women, and protect us and provide for us with these children into the future. And it was like, yes, yeah, we've called that marriage for a long time, and that is exactly right. You have discovered marriage. So
right. And again, go find a Jordan Peterson bro, give him a hug, tell him Jesus loves him and that you need to come to church with you. 2, right, this is the encouragement, and the encouragement to all these people that ultimately the lesson should be, you can't have all of the things Christ gives without Christ for long. So even if you're like, I love the myth of Christianity, all the things it talks about, Christian morality, Jesus doesn't give his gifts without him. And just like Christmas time, if my kids, everyone knows how horrible it is to watch their children love gifts from their grandparents or uncles, whoever gives them gifts, more than the person, and to ignore the person. That is the offense you deal to Christ if you stop at loving the Sabbath, Christian marriage, right? All of these blessings, if you don't turn them back to Jesus. So, Pastor Michael, I just thought it was a good way to start this 12 Days of Restless with a big white pill. Go out, give someone a hug, tell them Jesus loves them,